Hey, this is Mr. Mitchell. Let's talk about mammals. Here are some questions for you. You know, mammals are endothermic vertebrae. Endothermic, of course, meaning warm-blooded, and vertebrae means having a backbone. And of course, we are mammals. Now, I mentioned in the last video about how birds have these four-chambered hearts. We have four-chambered hearts too, and it helps us get a lot more oxygen than we probably would if we did not have a four-chambered heart. Now, one thing about mammals that I'm sure you know, but I'll tell you anyway, is that many mammals, or most mammals, have some kind of hair or fur. Mammals, of course, are born alive. They're fed by mother's milk, and most of them have teeth. Now, we're going to get to the hair or fur part in a little bit, but it's just so hard not to talk about the teeth of mammals. Now, I'm sure you touched on this before, but we have the molar type teeth, which are good for grinding, and herbivores, the mammals that are inclined to not eat meat and to eat plants, they have these molars. Now we have canines, and of course there are incisors that are with that as well, that meat-eating animals would have. And I'm not quite sure what kind of meat-eating animal this is, but you can tell by the way that they have these incisors that they are meat-eating animals. And of course, if you're an omnivore like humans are, you would have some of both kinds of teeth. Mammals breathe in and breathe out because of the combined action of a rib muscle called the diaphragm. Now the diaphragm, I think, is spelled right here. And this diaphragm is just right hugged up against the lungs. And this is really strong muscle. So as the diaphragm is going, as you breathe in, it's going to expand. And as you breathe out, it's going to contract. And I think I have the arrows wrong here. But anyway, this diaphragm goes up and down depending on when you breathe in. It's very strong muscle. So it kind of envelops the bottom of your lung right here. Your lung cannot kind of go through that. Okay, inhalation I see is arrow pointing down. And exhaling is arrow pointing up. I guess that forces the air out of your lungs and out of your mouth and nose. You know, that makes sense. Mammals, of course, are endotherms, and here's where we're going to get back to the fur and the hair. Did you notice what other kind of animal are endotherms? It's birds. And birds have a lot of feathers. You don't ever see a bald bird. They have all kinds of feathers which help keep the warmth in. Think about that. Mammals also have fur and hair that help keep the warmth in. You don't see that with reptiles. You don't see that with amphibians. You don't see that with fish. It's the warm-blooded, the endothermic animals which have all the fur or have all the feathers, and that's to help keep the warmth in because they are warm-blooded. Mammals also have a layer of fat under their skin, and that layer of fat provides kind of the same purpose as the fur and the hair. It helps keep that warmth in so they can continue to be warm. It helps them in being the warm-blooded endotherm that they are. Mammals are capable of great amounts of movement. Mammals, of course, have bilateral symmetry, and their senses are advanced for other animals. And mammals can adapt to environments literally all over the world because of their senses and because of their fur or skin. Now there are three main groups of mammals, and we're going to go over every one of them. First kind is monotremes. Monotremes. Do you think we're monotremes? Nah, we are not. Monotremes are just a few species of egg-laying mammals. Yes, egg-laying mammals. You don't find that very often. You have two species of spiny anteaters, and here is one of them. Two species of spiny anteaters, and you have the duck-billed platypus. couldn't resist the temptation to put Perry the platypus in this video. Well, I digress. But anyway, these monotremes still produce milk. Even though they lay eggs, they still produce milk. It's just after hatching, the mother oozes the milk from pores or slits on its belly. So here we have these hatched duckbill platypus, but you notice the mother is kind of keeping them close to her body. Her body actually will ooze the mother's milk. And the same thing is going to be true here for the spiny anteaters. They have little slits on their body where the milk actually oozes from them after the children are born. Interesting. Next we have marsupials. Marsupial has few more species than the monotremes do. Marsupials are mammals born in an early, I can't speak. Marsupials are mammals, and their children are born in an early stage of development. These marsupial babies then continue to develop in a pouch on the mother's body. So marsupials have pouches and their babies are born early. So, examples of marsupials are kangaroo. You know kangaroo have the pouches, koala, possum. So they're born and they go to a pouch. Now, you're not going to have much time that the infant is actually inside these animals. You know, we as placental mammals have a long period of time where the baby's inside the womb. It's not going to be that long for these marsupials. In fact, possums, the children are inside the mother for only 13 days. You know how we have the child is inside the mother for about 9 months. But it's only about 13 days that the child is inside the possum before birth. Once the baby possums are born, they crawl into the pouch and actually latch onto the mother's nipple there, and they stay there until they are more mature. And it kind of brings up the point of gestation period. This is a term that we just happen to mention about. It's how long an infant is inside the mother's womb. It's the time from fertilization to birth. That's called the gestation period. For possums, it's about 13 days. For humans, it's about 9 months. Now that brings us to placental mammals. Now, almost all mammals are going to be placental mammals. We humans are placental mammals. These babies develop inside the mother until their body systems can function independently. The name for placental mammals comes from the word placenta. Placenta, of course, is an organ in pregnant female mammals that passes materials between the mother and the developing embryo. It uses an umbilical cord to go into the placenta. Now, of course, food, oxygen pass from the mother to the young, and waste passes from the young to the mother. And the book says that the mother is able to eliminate that waste. You do have the umbilical cord that connects the young to the placenta. Most mammals are placental mammals, and their gestation periods are considerably longer than that of marsupials. Gestation period for humans, of course, is 9 months, and that's going to be even longer for some animals. An elephant has a gestation period of 21 months. 21 months between fertilization and birth of a baby elephant. Most mammals are born without fur, and most mammals are helpless for a long period of time after being born. I mean, we humans stay with our parents for many, many, many years after they're born. And they're not helpless, of course, but they need help up until a certain point. And of course, not just humans, but all these placental mammals, you're going to have the young that stay with the parent for an extended period of time. So, well, I know you knew already a little bit about mammals, but I hope you learned a little bit more with this video.